Hey girls, hey! I am Dr. LaShonda Bailey, and I want to formally introduce myself. I've had a couple of funny videos, little funny reels where I've had the fan, drinking the coffee, having a hot flash by the big fan in IKEA, and all those things are real lived experiences, right? But I am here because I just want to talk about my real story, my real journey, my real symptoms, my real life. And 2 years ago, when I turned 50, Mother Nature was so gracious to give me a birthday gift. Menopause. As soon as I turned 50 years old, the first symptom I remember experiencing was brain fog. And you know how when you forget things, like you're walking around looking for your phone, it's in your hand, or your glasses on top of your head, you forget. Nothing simple like that. I mean, it was literally, I walk out of one room 20 feet and then stop right in the middle and forget what it is that I was doing. And it was these periods, these gaps, little short gaps that I could not process where I was going, what I was doing, what I was thinking, what I was about to do. And it was like a internet trying to connect to a signal, right? So I noticed that, and it's like, you're getting older, your memory is not as sharp. You know, it comes with age. But with me, I noticed like that. No, I remember everything. I am very, very detailed oriented by nature. I could recall persons, places, and things. And when I got to the point where I felt like there were gaps in between, it's not my normal, something is wrong. You kind of put it in the back of your mind, but you make a mental note and you go on until you get your very first hot flash. Sitting at the dining room table, talking to your husband, having breakfast. You got your robe on. And all of a sudden, your body starts to overheat. Like you really feel like you are baking inside. And then you start feeling perspiration under the breast, under the arms, in your crotch. So immediately you start to strip out of your clothes because it's just a natural reaction. And then you look over in the kitchen and your son's at the sink washing dishes. And I'm like, what is happening? From that, I said, I got to go get some blood work done because this is crazy. I get the blood work done. We're on our way to go celebrate my 50th birthday. We're going to New Orleans. Our bucket list, me and my husband was going to Mardi Gras. The nurse called me back a day before our trip. She said, Mrs. Bailey, you and your husband can have as much sex as possible and you don't have to worry about getting pregnant. And I'm like, what, girl? What does that mean? And she says, your hormones, at your level, you're not in peri. You skipped over peri. You were in post-menopause based on your hormone test. So I'm like, wait, what? Brain fog, I noticed. One hot flash, post-menopausal. Skip the peri. This is what she's telling me on the phone. So I said, okay, this is my life. We're going to figure this out. My doctor recommended a couple of natural medications that I could take because I was adamant about not going on hormone replacement therapy. All of the data that I've read, everything that I've researched, there were high numbers of HRT leading to breast cancer, endometrial cancer, and uterine cancer. Now, my big sister, Teresa, she passed away with endometrial cancer. So with that, I was very afraid to go on any medication for hormone replacement therapy because of that genetic connection. So with that information, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to approach this thing holistically. I am going to get me some over-the-counter medication, some natural medication. I'm going to thug this thing out. When I got off the phone with the nurse, while I was packing for our trip, why do I need emergency feminine products? You know, all of us women, we always have our little pack of emergency feminine products that we take with us on the trip because we never know. Even when we time it, we look at our, you know when you're period, you've been doing it for a long time. You always have your emergency kit. I had some in my purse and I had one in my luggage. I said, I don't need it. Just had a hormone test. This lady said that I skipped over peri. I am post. I'm going to leave with that information. We go to New Orleans. We're having a time. I wake up on the third day of our trip. And guess what I have? A period for my birthday. A full-blown menstrual cycle. I'm in the bathroom washing out my Victoria's Secret panties, sending my husband down to the Walgreens at the end of the block on Lafayette Street to get me some natural tampons and pads. From that, I'm trying to figure out how, if I'm postmenopausal, why am I having a period? Why is my body straddling the fence? It's either one or the other. That started my journey for another year and a half of going between perimenopause, postmenopause, getting tested, my hormones tested, still having a period, still going through 2 months skipping a period, thinking this is going to be it. Then the period comes and my body yo-yoing all over the place. The brain fog, the hot flashes have increased. Now there is night sweats. Now there is the weight gain. I gained 20 pounds in 6 months. My knees hurt. My back hurt. My feet hurt. I have restless leg syndrome. I go lay down in the bed and I can just feel my legs, the veins in my legs, the blood flow in my legs, just this, like they won't calm down. I had menopause acne. Yeah, that is a thing. I say all this to say, this is my personal journey. It is a lived experience. All us women, we experience some of the same symptoms, but some of us experience some extreme things that we have to educate our other sisters about. Beating Heart Health for Women was built so we can have a safe space to share, that we could research, that we can educate each other, that we can empower each other. The goal is to have a good quality of life, even though we're going through this midlife transition. The goal here is to have a good quality of life. Happy hormones, ladies.